Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Flying Over 50 at Any Age. I'm Cyrus Webb, joined by my co-host, celebrity
Okay.
publicist, and Amazon best-selling author Makeda Smith. So glad you guys could join us on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X. Going to welcome in our friends tuning in on Instagram as well. And last but certainly not least, going to bring in our friends over on Amazon Live. And everybody, if you're joining us live or catching the replay, you guys are catching what is an historic moment for us. It is day number 30 from Makeda's book. It is week number 30 for our series. We're kind of wrapping things up. We do have a show we're going to do next week as a recap, but we're now live on Amazon Live at Flying Over 50 at Any Age. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon platform, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button either here in this corner or down below. You also will see the book by Makeda Smith, the Amazon bestseller, Flying Over 50 at Any Age. It is a 30-day journal, but we've been going for 30 weeks now with Makeda's book, talking about the reflections. Makeda, how you doing?
Day 30, week 30. Woo! The end. Next week and then the end.
That's right. Makeda, I have to say before we get started,
Yes.
this has been such a pleasure for me to be a part of this series with you. And yes, we have our recap. In fact, I mentioned last week, Makeda and I will actually be together live in person in Los Angeles doing the finale show, kind of the recap as we go through the epilogue and then the final takeaways. But Makeda, what are you feeling right now?
Ecstatic.
Okay.
We made it in the beginning. I was a nervous wreck. I didn't know how this was going to play out. I didn't know what I had gotten myself into.
Mm-hmm.
Every week I was a stress mess for like probably the first 10 weeks. It was just stressful. I was like, how does Cyrus do this every day? But now it's smooth sailing. It's like it's all good. It's all good.
Well, Makeda, in typical Cyrus Webb fashion, I'm going to go back to that very first week, and we're going to see what you had to say during week number 1.
I wasn't ready. You almost made me choke, Cyrus.
First of all, thank you so much for trusting us here to be able to help bring it to Amazon. What has it been like for you, Makeda, to see the response to this book?
Cyrus, you have my nerves bad right now. When you coerced me into writing this book, I said, okay, in my mind, it was going to be me and the reader. No clue. Cut chase to the present. You're going to have me live on the streaming platform with folks all up in my personal business via the book.
Now, Makeda.
Lord with the T. I'm going to get you, Cyrus.
You said it, Makeda. What? But just look how far you've come for week number 1.
I was a ball of nerves. I'm so much more relaxed now. Oh, but Cyrus, you took me through it. First writing the book and then making me do this. Oh my God, you and those webs you be spinning.
Okay, so let's see in part 2 what you had to say about that. Here we go. Well, first of all, hello to you, Melissa. Melissa joining us on Facebook. She says hello and congratulations on the new show. Thank you for that. So first of all, these people who accuse me of coercing them into stuff, I don't know about that. But Makeda,
we won't say coerce. We will say motivate.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Makeda, let me just say, I was so excited you decided to write this book. I was so excited that you said yes to being a part of this brand new series here on Amazon Live. And what I hope happens is that people not only get to know you, but also as they pick up the book, and I think it's so timely for where we are. Melissa, no one asked you that. Melissa said he will do that. Yes, he will. But I hope they're able to get to know you, Makeda, but also the lessons you've been able to learn that you share with us. So, Makeda, I think I wanted to play that part because I feel like that's been a big part of what's happened here, We have gotten to know you, but also the lessons you've learned from. What was it like for you to go back through those lessons and to look at the journey to where you are today?
Mm, it's been really interesting because writing the book was one thing, and then going back to reflect on what I have written, it's like writing the book was like one layer, and then discussing it with you was like a whole nother layer.
Mm,
And it kind of took me deeper into what I had written,
mhm.
and you unveiled in your very Cyrus Webb way, Cyrus Webb way, um, like deeper insights, like some things that had kind of like gone over my head. It was like, oh yeah, yeah. So it's been really fascinating, Cyrus. You know what? But I always give you credence for what you do, which is why over the decades I have made my clients interview with you, because you're so astute and you're so insightful and you're so good at what you do.
Well, thank you for that. And for those who don't know, and I said it in the beginning of this series, Makeda has shown me a great deal of trust over the years with her clients, and I appreciate that so much. I've mentioned before she's given me some of my biggest names that I've had in my radio career, and I really appreciate that. But Makeda, I want to say, even though
Mhm.
we're wrapping up this series, I really hope people get to see you in a different light now, because it's so interesting. I feel like there are four areas that people have gotten to know Makeda Smith as, right? There's
Uh-huh.
Makeda Smith, you know, the mother, right? We've gotten
Okay.
to know you in that phase of your life. Then there is Makeda Smith, the publicist, and we've gotten to know you for all the people you've worked with and all the clients you've had over these decades. And then we got to know Makeda Smith with Flying Over 50, right? As you introduced in the book. But now people get to see you, Makeda Smith, the author. Now that we've gone through this series, is that something that feels more comfortable for you to embrace? You're being a best-selling author.
I really don't want to answer that because I feel like that's a setup, Cyrus, for you to come up with an idea for me to write another book,
Makeda.
which is not happening right now. So I'm not answering that. I
You,
will say though, like so many people over the years were like, you should write a book, you should write a book. I think
mm,
most people wanted me to write like a tell-all book about,
right,
my life in the industry and behind the scenes, all the celebrities and stuff. I think
right,
that was, but then just some people were like, your life has been like so like different, you should write a book. So all I know is the bottom line is it's off my bucket list. I've written the book. I always knew somewhere I was going to have somewhere, some kind of way, I was going to have to sit down and put a pen to paper. And I
yeah.
feel like this book has done that. And I can breathe and say, I've written a book and I'm an author. And hear me loud and clear, Cyrus. And now I can move on.
Right. Move on to the next
No,
chapter.
no, not move on to the next book. Not move on to the next book. Move on.
Oh, but Makeda, there's so much. I have learned so much, and I hope our audience has too. Now, I've known Makeda for over a decade, going, for quite
Yeah.
some time. But Makeda, the things you wrote about in this book, I had no idea about. Right?
Yeah.
Just like I think there's a lot of people who've gotten to know you professionally that had no idea about you're dealing with abuse. You're dealing with loss the way that you did, and all of the different challenges that you faced. And I think I can understand better now, having gone through the book with you in this series,
Mhm.
how wise people have the respect for you that they have, not just for what you've achieved professionally, but
Mhm.
for what you have overcome personally. Is that something you also feel?
I don't know. I just think like everyone has a story and everyone has been through something. And everybody's story is different. Everybody's story is nuanced. So I really don't put a lot on my personal story because I'm like, well, everybody's been through something. But I guess in the scheme of things, it's always good to share what you've been through because it might motivate or elevate or help someone else get through what they're going through. So that's the value of sharing your story. So it's not so much like, oh, share my story because I'm special and I did X, Y, and Z. Is share my story because of me sharing my story, it may help you with your story.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then acknowledging that I am very happy I've gotten, elements of my story out that will serve the greater good and help people with, pursuing their own story.
Love that. Love that. Well, for those who are just coming in, I appreciate you guys over there on YouTube. Appreciate you guys over there on Amazon as well as on Facebook. You are watching Flying Over 50 at Any Age. We're coming down to the end. It's week number 30 of our series, day number 30, the very last day in Makeda's book. Makeda, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to share my screen so our audience can follow along.
Let me try to get set up here.
Okay.
Okay. Day 30, hindsight is a vision. This past 30 days has been quite a reflection, recalling memories and experiences that were filled with both pleasure and pain. Piloting a higher path requires unrelenting commitment. Even when you don't know exactly where you are going or how you will get there, it's the vision of bluer skies ahead that cement the journey. I'm over 60 as I write this, and I can't tell you what's next for me. I can tell you that I never in my wildest dreams envisioned that at this age I'd be a pole dancing granny. In truth, my vision was more along the lines of a white picket fence, a husband, and a dog, LOL. I've since learned that the universe knows best, and my only job is to keep moving forward, no matter what. Hopefully, this journal has you reflecting on your own journey, and I've inspired some new thoughts and ideas for you. Never be afraid to turn a new corner in life. It's all about the journey, not the destination. And oh, yeah, yoga helps. Blessings.
All right. And then we have this photo to wrap us out. Talk to us about this photo.
That's a yoga pose. And I thought I had put so many, I included a few yoga poses and throughout the book. But my pole journey started with yoga. So it just made sense to end the book with the yoga pose.
Mhm. I want to go back to what you said, Makeda, in this, because I thought it was so interesting the way you phrased this.
Uh-huh.
You say piloting a higher path requires unrelenting commitment. Even when you don't know exactly where you're going or how you will get there, it's the vision of bluer skies ahead that cement the journey. I thought right back to day number one
Mm,
when you were leaving, not knowing what lay ahead, but knew you had to do what was right for you and your family, right?
yeah.
Um, Talk to us about that because there's a saying, and I'm not going to get it exactly correct, but I think you know the one I'm talking about. That the life you want is going to cost you the life you have, or something similar to that.
Oh,
What is
okay.
that? What has that been like for you to think about that? In order to get to where you want to go, it's going to cost you something. There are decisions that have to be made.
Yeah. I think, you know what? I think it's really the easiest, well, it's not really easy, but the best thing to do is to reframe how we deal with challenges. And I
Mm,
think a lot of times we look at challenges as negative. And if
yeah,
we can reframe challenges and take them out of a negative light and put them into a positive light, knowing that the challenges are just a portal or a gateway to get us to the next level, to get to a blessing. Because life is full of challenges, and that sounds like, oh my God, what's coming next? What's coming next? But if we could take it out of, oh my God, what's coming next, and look at it like, oh wow, what's coming next? What challenge is coming next is going to get me to the next level and to the next level? Then it kind of helps to make the journey a little lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, as you talked about in this day 30, you talked about the heights. And I think, you and I, we've talked about, for me, this whole book has been about movement.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Talk to us about what you see now as what is around the corner. You talked about that. I mean, everything is moving you forward. When you think about what's next for you, what does that look like for you today?
I I really don't like, oh, I don't put particulars on what's next. I put like a frequency on what's next. So it's
Okay.
not so much like me visualizing like what's coming next, it's the frequency of what's coming next. I know that there's more blessings coming next.
Mm,
And if I just am open to whatever those blessings are, then I stay expanded and I stay open and I stay in a receiving state. I think a lot of times when we try to visualize and vision too much, we limit what could actually, be out there for us.
yeah.
And so, for instance, when I had my home and my dog and my man and blah blah blah, and I thought this is it, this is everything that they say you're supposed to work for, and now I have it, and now I'm done, and then I lost it all.
Mm,
um I did in that moment perceive it as the end, but it really wasn't the end. It was a challenge for me to get to the next level. And life is, like I said, life is just continuing challenges. So a lot of times, it's not so much as, at least for me, like people will ask me, well, what are your plans and what are your goals and, what's next? I really don't approach things like that, because when I had plans and goals written out on paper and step by step how I was going to get there, the universe came and said, "Whoosh, it's not your way, it's my way." So
yeah.
now, from a being older and being a little wiser and being a little more settled, it's just a space of being open and staying prayerful and being in a receiving state. So whatever comes next, I'm ready to deal with it.
Yeah. I love that. I
A
love the
non-resistant state and staying non-resistant.
Mm. I love the way you phrase this in this particular day, Makeda. You say, "My only job is to keep moving forward no matter what," and it kind of ties into what you were just saying. I think
Yeah,
a lot of times we do get in our heads what success looks like you mentioned, the white picket fence and the all of that.
yeah,
But the important thing is really just to keep moving.
yeah.
Yeah, so I do love that. So as we come to the end, and again, as I mentioned, Makita and I will be together next week in Los Angeles. I'm looking forward to that. Hey to you, to Kenya. Good to see you over there on Facebook. We haven't seen each other in person, Makita, since the pandemic.
I know. It'd be
Yeah,
nice to see you.
yeah, yes. We have not seen each other in person. So, um, what do you hope as we're wrapping up, though? What do you hope the reader, as they kind of reflect on these 30 days you take us through, what do you hope this book does for them in kind of thinking about their own lives and what's possible for them, Makita?
I hope it inspires people. Hope it inspires people to keep flying no matter what. To know that you literally can fly at any age. And a lot of times when circumstances come that seem like they're the end, they're really not the end. They're just a setup for something bigger or something more expansive. And I hope that the book instills, gives people hope and faith in their own journey.
Love that. Love that. Well, it definitely has done that for me. It's been very encouraging for me, Makita, to have
Thank you,
gone through it.
Cyrus.
Again, I read it when it first came out, but diving through it, taking our time the way we did it, week by week by week, really helps you, I think, to reinforce it. And let me just say this too, as a reader to other people out there, Makita, I think there's a lesson in this too. A lot of times we read to read, not to understand and to appreciate and meditate, I really would encourage people to really take their time to not just to read each day, but to really think about it. Think about the experiences Makeda shares, and then the prompt she gives at the end, those questions. And really, I think if you do that, I think the book will become more meaningful for you. And I think will also make a bigger connection for you as well, instead of just saying, okay, well, I read that. I read today's. But really taking the time to savor it, almost like a meal, and to really think about it. Okay, well, what she went through, how did she, how did she change her perspective? How can I change my own perspective? And I think if they do that, I think the book will definitely come to life for them.
Thank you, Cyrus. I agree. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. Makeda, looking forward to seeing you next week as we do our wrap up.
La La Land.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be good to be back. And we thank you all, our audience, for being with us for another great episode of Flying Over 50 at Any Age. Makeda, let them know how to stay connected with you.
You can find me at Flying Over 50 and at the Makeda Method. Those are my websites. Those are my social media handles. And I guess that's it till next week.
All right. Till next week. All right, everyone. Until next week, you all make it a great one.
Thank you. Blessings, everybody.